Our chalice lighting words this morning are familiar to many, words by Wendell Berry that you'll hear presented in a different way and ever so much more beautifully later in the service. He writes, "When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear for my life and what my children's lives might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests, in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. If we can rest for but a moment in the grace of this world and find some glimmer of freedom together, we are truly blessed."
You have come through these doors and into this place. You've come to be with others who care about what it means to live on this beautiful blue-green world. You've come to be with your innermost self, to hear the deep wells within you brimming with courage and wisdom. These words by Reverend Bob Janice Dillon capture so much of what it is to be a part of a beloved community and to be the welcome that we all need. Welcome. Welcome to this place of community, spirit, and service. This place that exists beyond these walls. This place that transforms as we are transformed. Welcome to River Road. Whether you're just getting to know what it is we do here, or if this place is etched into your spirit, you are welcome. I'm Reverend Amanda, and I'm joined with Reverend Nancy, and here we are once more to explore together what it means to be welcome, which is this month's theme. We explore monthly themes during worship and also in religious education, and it's also an invitation for all of us to explore what this theme means in our own hearts and in our own lives, finding the gift of welcome in our own experiences. So in that spirit this morning, I invite you now to rise, turn, and greet your neighbor for a hearty hello, good morning, as we move into the sacred time of worship. can go ahead and stay risen as you're willing and able in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 131, in your hymnal if you have it, or the words on the back of the wall, "Love will guide us." Come and let us worship together.
This year, in our kindergarten through 5th grade religious education classes, we are exploring all the different gifts our faith gives us and all the gifts being you helps us give others. This month's theme is the gift of welcome. Today, for Prophetic Voices, we are exploring that theme through the lens of being open to many sources of nourishment. With that in mind, we are sharing a video of a story about a little girl named Princess Gigi. Princess Gigi lives in a beautiful land, but water is very scarce. Every morning, Gigi walks miles with her mother to collect water, and she dreams of a life and a time when her village will have access to nourishing, clean drinking water. The story is based on the childhood experience of Georgie Badil.
The Water Princess, written by Susan Verde, illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds. I am Princess Gigi. My kingdom, the African sky, so wide and so close, I can almost touch the sharp edges of the stars. I can tame the wild dogs with my song. I can make the tall grass sway when I dance. I can make the wind play hide and seek. But I cannot make the water come closer. I cannot make the water run clearer, no matter what I command. It is early morning, still dark. My mother wakes me. Gigi, my princess, it is time to get up. We must collect the water. Water, come! Do not make me wake before even the sun is out of bed, I demand. Come, please, I say. But the water won't listen, and I know we will have to walk so far to the well. I am too sleepy to put on my crown. I think of the pot that will rest on my braids instead. The thirst comes quick, dry lips, dry throat. I squeeze my eyes shut. I see it, clear. I dip my toes in it, cool. I scoop it up and bring it to my lips. Slowly, I open my eyes. Nothing. kick the dust. I grab my empty pot and place it upon my head. My mother does the same, and our journey begins, full of song. My maman adds her melody. Our steps are light. We twirl and laugh together. The miles give us room to dance. Halfway there, we stop for a moment at the giant gruyere tree, long enough to grab a handful of sweet shea nuts for energy. We can keep the dance going just a little longer. Maman, are we there yet? Finally, I hear the water running from the well, the giggles of my friends, the chatter of women. Some have traveled farther than I, only to return home when the sun has gone to bed. Maman holds our place while I play with friends. The dance continues. The water is flowing. Pots filling with the dusty earth-colored liquid. Gigi, come, maintenant. My turn now. The dance home has slowed to careful steps. My thirst so heavy, like the full pot I carry. Our song is softer now. Our shoulders ache, our feet cramp. I see home at last. Maman boils enough water for drinking. We wait. We wash our clothes. We prepare food for cooking. My father comes quickly from the fields to share in the drink and the meal. He scoops me up. My princess, you have returned with the water. Drink, Maman says. Finally, every sip fills me with energy. I want to make it last, but I can't. I gulp it down. Clothes and body clean, I sing to the dogs. I dance with the tall grass. I hide from the wind. Maman brings one last cup she has saved just for me. Drink, my princess. Sleep, my princess. Tomorrow we journey again. Maman, I say as I close my eyes, why is the water so far? Why is the water not clean? Where is our water? Sleep, she says. Dream, she says. Someday you will find a way, my princess. Someday. I am Princess Gigi, my kingdom, the African sky, the dusty earth, and someday the flowing, cool, crystal clear water. Someday.
Learning is a kind of journey and adventure that leaves some room when we are lucky for all of us to dance, even when the work is hard and the way is not clear. As our children and youth and our religious education teachers head out to their classes, we send you forth with that great hope, that together there might be room for dancing in the midst of the journey. We come into this place, never finished or complete, but carrying with us our joys and our sorrows, our laughter and our tears, And I want to invite you at any point in the service to light a candle here or in the back for what you carry with you in the silent sanctuary of your own heart today. I want to begin by sharing just an update on one of our own. Maureen and Hank Beasley have had a hard time. Hank is at home in some sort of well-attended care in their retirement community after a brief hospitalization and a spell that was kind of scary for them. Maureen welcomes cards and letters. They are funny and they are tough and they are brave. I also light a candle that should be 10,000 candles for this season of increasing climate chaos and uncertainty in the natural world. From flooding in Libya, leaving thousands lost, earthquakes in Morocco, Maui still recovering from fires, for this world and those whose earnest efforts seek to protect it, for all those who seek only to make a way out of no way, after losing so much and finding the courage to rebuild. For this and so much else, we light a candle of hope, of sorrow, and of renewed commitment.
Each of us is a world of our own, a miniature universe full of joys and sorrows, celebration and mourning. When we come into this space, we ask not of one another to leave all of that at the door, but to bring it in, to make a space for all that we are and all that we're becoming. This morning's litany comes from Don Sky Cooley, and I invite you to prepare for prayer and meditation by taking a good seat. Perhaps fixing your gaze or closing your eyes and coming into full presence in this moment. A litany of wholeheartedness. Because there have been times when shame has crushed our ability to be wholehearted. We let go of who we are and who we ought to be, and we embrace exactly who we are. Because we have not always had the courage to be imperfect, we let go of who we ought to be, and we embrace who we are. Because we have struggled to have compassion for ourselves or for others, because we have been afraid of our own vulnerability, because we are sometimes too scared to live authentically, because we want to be wholehearted people, confident in our worthiness and our belonging, because. We let go of who we ought to be, and we embrace who we are. Spirit of life, Spirit of love and longing, we call this morning your presence in this place. All of our presence is the Spirit of life. The spirit of the wild things that move us and shake us and transform us and turn us and guide us is the spirit of life. There is no spirit of life without each one of us, without our baggage and our problems and our burdens. We call forth the spirit of hope for the disasters of the world and the people who don't turn from them, the people who continue to do the impossible, who continue to hope and work and build a world that can face the problems that it has created. Our hearts turn toward the sky as our hearts open to one another in this time. May we be open. May we have the courage to show up, to mess up, and to try again. May we embrace what is wild about us, what is whole about us, and what we are becoming in these days, weeks, months, and years ahead. We are here. We are ready. May we be willing. May it be so. Blessed be. We do create the world and the welcome that we desire. We talk a lot about beloved community. Well, we also create that. And we co-create this space, which means so much in each of our hearts and lives. The impact of what we do here stretches far beyond any given Sunday morning and well beyond these walls. The ways we feed one another's spirits, the ways we show up for the community that surrounds us. This is all an expression of our deepest values and our principles of generosity, which is vital. We give in many ways for many reasons, and our offering is another way we give. If you'd like to learn more about our giving practices, you can go over to our website and read more about that. You can even give for our weekly offering on the website. You can text to give. The number is 73256. You can text to give at any time, or you can give right now here in person. The offering will now gratefully be received. Okay, ma'am.
Why is the water so far? Why is the water not clean? Why can a little princess make the tall grass sway when she dances, but she cannot command the water to come closer, not even when it is so far away? Why is there so much trudging in this world? These are the questions that can fill up a whole lifetime. Why isn't the world the way we want it, nay, even need it to be? In our story today, the water princess, our tiny little prophet laments these things, even despairs the immensity of the task that lies before her, only to find that the heavy, hot, and burdened miles between the well and the village give the people, her family, and herself the time to dance. And maybe someday we are left to think at the end of the story, her hands will build the aqueduct, or will make it easier, or will change the world. But for today, in this world, her world and not another one, the despair gave way to a dance. The great Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard is one of my nerdy preoccupations. And Kierkegaard once wrote that despair is fundamental to human experience. It arises only partly from the actual living of our lives, the frustrations we face, the seemingly small ones, and the losses, the failures that leave an utterly unrepairable hole. Despair arises only partly from these very real things of our lives. But it also arises, he says, from the profound distance between our finitude and these pesky imaginations of ours that are capable of conceiving something very close to infinity, between what is and what could be. As the theologian Serene Jones puts it, the tension between our given destiny and our imagined freedom is an endemic part of humanity. We live in this world, but we can imagine an otherwise world, or 1,000 of them. An otherwise world where the water is closer and cleaner, and the sheer effort of rising so early to bring it to the village is not so hard, where every single thing is not so hard. An otherwise world where things are fair, or if not fair, then at least mostly fair. An otherwise world where what grieves us to our core did not have to happen that way. Where what we have lost could truly be found. We live in this world, but we imagine the otherwise worlds of our deepest yearning and our great need, and it is in that space where we touch the hem of despair's garment or are utterly enveloped by it. We encounter it, this despair, one way or another. No one escapes wholly the suffering that is born in the space between our limited existence and our unlimited yearning. But people manage it, and we do so in wildly divergent ways. Some healthy, some destructive, some ever-shifting combination of the two, lying not on one side of a clear spectrum, but somewhere in the swirling middle, wherein every neat line folds over upon itself. What matters is not that we strive to resolve the distance between the reality of our lives and the expanse of our infinite longings. What matters, at least in part, is that we acknowledge we are living in that struggle and in that space, the push and pull and the strain of it that this puts on our spiritual and our emotional well-being. What matters is that, at least in part, we truly inquire in the deeper places of our hearts what strategies we might best use to face it down and keep going together. Now, Kierkegaard, who famously spent some of his prime years holed up eating cake by himself in his Copenhagen apartment after being banished from society for being kind of a jerk, he is perhaps not the best example. The man managed to make unhappiness not a state of being, but a vocation unto itself. Again, not the example, but still, he was no dummy. And in those lonely spaces, both within and without, he found his way towards some deep and foundational truths about the spiritual and emotional lives of we human beings. In his work, Kierkegaard laid out what he called 4 character sketches of the way people manage that internal struggle caused by the space between our finitude and our infinite yearning. The names he gives those character sketches are frankly sort of confusing and really dense, and I am not going to get into them today, but my fellow Kierkegaard fan, the theologian Serene Jones, helpfully characterizes them in terms that make a little more sense to the modern ear. When confronted with the inherent despair of the human condition, she says, via Kierkegaard, that we can respond by becoming each in turn and trading off at different parts in our lives. We can respond by becoming flitterers, cravers, ragers, and receivers of grace. Sometimes in turns, often in concert with one another, we can move among these modes as a way of coping with that space between the world as it is and the world as it should be, though frankly, most of us have a default mode or two baked in there somewhere. The flitterers among us keep moving and try to keep it light. Flitting from one moment to the next, hoping to flow through each day fast enough that we do not have to alight for too long on thoughts and experiences that put us face to face with our limitations or our despair, often not even fully acknowledging that despair when we feel it. The flitterers keep flying. There is an innocence and a preciousness to the flittering, the constant motion through life's shallows. There is something deeply important about it. With the flitterers, I yearn to watch 6 episodes of the Great British Baking Show and immerse myself in a low-stakes world where everyone is basically nice to each other. Sound familiar? There is a time and a place to wade lightly in the shallows so that we can make it through together. And yet there is also a certain fragility to the peace that is born from this great effort of always looking in the other direction. The resilience born from flittering is a fragile one. It is not sturdy. We might rightfully worry that such a peace might be swept away when the loss is real, when the loss is too big, and to go out, and we might find ourselves going out, reaching, when the edges of the flittering are found, we might find ourselves reaching for anything we can hold close to ourselves in the harder times. That reaching out for something we can hold close, it brings us to Kierkegaard's second group of people and another particular strategy in the face of despair. That second group is what Serene Jones calls the cravers. And well, let's just say that the cravers among us we know what we are despairing over. We know full well what the empty spaces in our hearts are missing, and we strive to fill that empty space with the things of this world that are well known through generations to fill up empty spaces, at least temporarily. Kierkegaard said that the cravers among us pawn ourselves to the world, filling up our yearnings with things, with addictions, with drugs, alcohol, the power or the illusion of our own complete necessity to everyone around us. The cravers take hold of the things of this world and pull them towards us as if more of anything at all could hold despair at bay forever. In the best cases, when we are functioning in the mode of a craver, we will indeed watch HGTV and convince ourselves, if only for a moment, that a new backsplash in the kitchen really will make the whole struggle go away. Why are all my examples about TV shows? I know, because those are the easy ones, and the real examples are so much harder. At some point, in the banal or dangerous cycle of craving, we all find the outside edge of meaning that all our stuff can bring. And when we encounter that edge, some really scary things can happen, including rage. Because that one, the ragers, that is the third mode of coping with despair that honestly none of us is altogether unfamiliar with. We have surely encountered it in ourselves, in others. Ragers are furious that this is the way it is. Furious at all we cannot control and the gap between what is and what should be. We are burning with a deep anger that we can turn outward or inward, fiercely tilting our swords at the dying of the light, or the waitress who messed up our order, or the political process playing out before our very eyes, or, as is so often the case, all of the above. My life, the world, American politics, it should be otherwise, it should be otherwise, it should be otherwise. Why can't it all be otherwise? The ragers ask. Sound familiar? Despair usually lasts, Serene Jones says, until one realizes eventually that I cannot create the otherwise world for my needy self and recognize the arrogance of presuming I ever could. And from that place, find a way to release my energy of flittering, of craving, of raging, to release all that energy into something else that does not result in mere resignation at the world as it is, but doesn't avoid it, doesn't consume it, doesn't shout against it either. Release that energy into something like grace, a destiny that holds us and calls out to us in the middle of our limited lives, as surely as our ultimate frailty reminds us every day that our days are brief. There is for us a chance, gifted every single day, to fall in love with a broken world. A space between the escape, the acquisition, and the effort, where for once we are able to be who we are, where we are, with awe, and notice the dance that happens on the way back from the well we never wanted to walk to. There is a moment beyond the flittering, the craving, the raging, Kierkegaard writes, when all around one everything becomes silent, solemn as a clear starlit night, when the soul comes to be alone in the whole world and the I chooses itself, or more correctly, receives itself, a knighthood that ennobles it for all eternity. There is available to us, he says, a knighthood that ennobles us. By which he means like a knight, like armor, like a sword. He doesn't mean the darkness. He means there is an ennobling power, an image of grace, an elevated soul, Or, as is the case for most of us when we are honest, a briefly ennobled soul before we slip back into the flittering, the craving, and the raging all over again, each in turns, right? The knight of faith, as he understands it, is a person who chooses to believe nothing more nor less revolutionary than that the presence of hope endures in the face of limitation and astonishing pain. The knight of faith, he says, is one who finds for themselves in the midst of it all the necessary medicine for nihilism. In the valley of dry bones, when nobody can impose their hope upon you, yet down somewhere in the desolation, you know there remains an awareness that it is only when we carry the water the long way round that we learn to dance under the weight of these burdens. To leap over the chasm of our own unknowing and grab hold of hope we cannot prove, that is the task, he says, of the knight of faith. In some ways, the deck is always stacked against us. All these sources of suffering, all the space between the world as it is and the world as it should be, it is real. People we love die. There will be pain in our bodies and in our souls. Things will not go our way, and the world is, I wrote in my text, at least half terrible. Someone convinced me it's like a third. But life itself demands that we pause a while in our efforts to hide, to accumulate, to rage, moving always back toward the equilibrium in faith that somewhere amid it all, there is a grace that blesses all that remains. W.E.B. Du Bois once said that the prayer of our souls is a petition for persistence. Not for the one good deed or the single thought, but deed on deed, thought on thought, until day calling unto day shall make a life worth living. Day calls unto day, life unto life, hope unto hope. And none of these moments of light, of faith, of hope, of dancing, none of them are pure or complete. None of them will last forever. They are fleeting. They pass us by. And yet the prayer of our souls is a petition for persistence, not for heroism or certainty or the expectation that every single person must prove their worth by manning the barricades of injustice at all times, but just for persistence. So that today each of us might choose again to find meaning in the living in spite of it all, and that tomorrow we might choose it again, and the day after that, so that truly hope might wane, and the way back from the well might always be long. But among us, as among the prophets of old, grace might still intrude itself. Among all of our flittering, all of our craving, all of our raging, grace might still intrude itself upon all our efforts to escape it and remind us that life is worthy of our faithfulness in and through it all. Amen. as ever, we do what we do in community, and none of it happens unless we choose to make it so. And so I want to thank all the people that made this service possible. Shwai, thank you. Thank you. Of course, it is so great to have the choir back. What a gift. Thank you, Clifton, our tech team, everybody. And Dre Dispenza, who appointed himself with my approval, my intern today, to light the chalice. So we're grateful for that. What we do together is really just an expression of how we want to relate to each other, who we want to be in community. And you can find out more about what's happening here in the life of River Road in the E-Weekly. I have so many announcements about so many exciting things that I have to read it from behind the pulpit or I will mess it up. I am telling you, in what I'm about to say, you can plan your social calendar for the next month, because we really do the most, and there are so many chances to connect in meaningful ways at River Road. Firstly, we are working together with our COVID team here at River Road that has been a team now these 3 years, and tracking COVID cases as is responsible for us to do in these days. We track not only wastewater accumulation so we can see what kind of cases are really out there, but hospital check-ins, and we're paying attention to what adjustments we might need to make. For now, I just want to offer up that a culture of encouraging masking should anyone feel sick or feel in any way vulnerable or just kind of want to wear a mask is welcome for you all, and we'll have updates as anything else develops. We also today have 2 powerful activities. You can just get some cookies and just hang out today and do great things all day long. We have 3 amazing glass artists. I think I see Catherine Hubley upstairs, whose work will be exhibited starting today in the Fellowship Hall. The reception opening will be the 17th, that's right now, after coffee hour. We've got Catherine, whose work is so beautiful, Marilee Harrigan, also a River Roader, and Margaret Halpin, who are bringing their vibrant glass work. And you can purchase items in any of our curated art exhibits in there, knowing that 20% goes to River Road. It's gorgeous. Please join us. Also at 3 p.m. today, we'll be screening the film Birthing Justice and welcoming Ebony Marcel, Director of Midwifery at Community of Hope in Washington, D.C., and we'll be moderating a panel afterwards. So if reproductive choice, women and children and infant care is important to you, if you want to be a part of this larger conversation, please join us. That's 3 o'clock in the Fireside Room. Next weekend, we will have a game night on Sunday evening, so just come and play. It's going to be great. There's going to be a fire pit and s'mores, and it's super fun. That's the only announcement I have for next weekend. But September 30th, we've got it all, people. On September 30th, River Road is hosting Unstoppable Stories, DC's own Banned Books Festival. We hope you'll join us and the UU congregation of Fairfax. We'll be hosting on the 30th. Fairfax will be hosting October 1st. There'll be workshops, author readings, panel discussions, and Representative Jamie Raskin will be here at River Road that afternoon as our speaker. We do need volunteers, so please check it out. We need some help. Parking lot attendants, all sorts of things to help make the logistics of that event work. And September 30th, in that evening, we'll turn around this sanctuary for our College Access fundraiser. You can buy tickets now, today, in the Fellowship Hall. It'll be a hybrid performance here at River Road and live streamed on YouTube, welcoming the amazing, it does not get better, Daryl Davis and Seth Keibel, backed by popular demand, this time with a vocalist, Angela Hill. So you can get more info, get your tickets. It's going to be fantastic. And on the evening of October 6th, this is my waltz through the entire month of all the awesome things you should do. We have our epic celebration of all things Cliff Harden as we honor his 40th anniversary. Which is it's unbelievable. 40 years. It's going to be such a great party. We're going to laugh, and there will be music and much goofiness, and Cliff is very embarrassed about it. Finally, Finally, so much of our sort of work and hope leads up to one manifestation of what it is to build community at River Road. Every year, we have this thing called the Bazaar, which some of you know because it's written in your hearts, and some of you could not believe it unless you see it. The Bazaar is like a huge rummage sale. It raises funds for the congregation. This year, the Bazaar will be November 4th. It really, truly takes all of us to make it happen. Along the way, this strange alchemy intrudes to help us get to know each other, to have fun, not only to raise funds or to do a thing, but to build and thicken the bonds of community. As one member put it, the Bazaar gets in your blood in a good way. I mention this because it's time for all of us to consider what part in the Bazaar you'll play. There's something for everyone, and we're counting on us all to make it a success. We didn't say how you might volunteer, but kind of like how you might be of service, because this place is ours. It belongs to us, and we express it through all these acts of service. It really is fun. Helping at the Bazaar is a great way to get to know people and deepen relationships, and honestly, getting to know people and deepening relationships is like 2/3 of the point of this place. Is that not what drives us in here in the epidemic of loneliness in this world? So consider how you want to serve. You can transform this sanctuary into a room with housewares. You can be a security guard, or you can check bags, which is what I do every year. So you can't take my job, but we do need some more helpers. You can join with communications, be in one of the sales departments. You can figure out how to recycle more of what we can't actually sell. There are so many ways to connect and serve. For 60 years, River Road has been providing this service to the community and, frankly, to ourselves in community. Please go to the info table in the fellowship hall and sign up today. And that is all the announcements. We did it. And now, as we prepare to take this light we have kindled out into the waiting world, which is so deeply in need of it, even in the midst of despair, may the truths that make us free, the love that casts out fear, and the hope that never dies guide us and those we love and those we do not love forward together till the day spring breaks and the shadows flee away. Amen.